Welcome back to another edition of the Gridiron Grind. Creta, Jimmy. What's up, Jimmy? How did the open weekend of college football treat you?
It went pretty good, man. It went pretty good. Hogs got a win, and
Yeah, they did.
and covered,
And they covered.
and they covered,
Most importantly.
and a cover, and so it was great. It's great to have football back.
Loved it. Loved it. I mean, just having games on all day. Longhorns got a win. I had us both going 4-2-1 in the picks we gave out last week
I like it.
on the show. So, I mean, that's a good start to the week. But I'll say this, traditionally, I think we've talked about this before. Week 2 is a weakness for me. I'll never forget that time we went all in, I think, on OU to beat Ohio State week 2.
Oh,
And we were a year too early is what
yeah,
happened. Ohio
yeah.
State smoked them, but then the next year in Columbus, Oklahoma beat them. We were a year too early. But traditionally, week 2's been a rough week. But because I usually love the board, I'm like, because after 1 week, I'm like, I think I got it all figured out.
Yeah.
I think it's the opposite this week. I'm more caution, and I came up with 5 college plays, and I got 1 NFL play.
Okay.
I came up with, but I don't know. I can't say I feel great about any of them.
I came up with I've got 4 college picks, 2, kind of I'm gonna call my sprinkle picks, 2 sprinkle picks in college. I'm gonna stay away from NFL till week 1. The week 1's in the bag.
Well,
and
you're gonna love the 1 NFL one I got. I was go ahead and give it to you. We can start it off.
all right.
Cowboys versus Bucks. I'm going Cowboys. I thought about taking a money line, but you never know. I'm going to take the Cowboys in the points. Give me Cowboys plus 2.5. Why not, Jimmy? We should have beat them last year. Open it up.
We should have beat him last year, and he wasn't on the verge of divorce, and he had a full offensive line last year. So I know
That's really true.
He's still
Is
but-
Giselle really mad at him for coming out of retirement? Is that a true story?
brother. I don't know. I mean,
I've only heard that as rumors, but
I don't know. She makes more than him, so it ain't like she's one of these chicks that needs him.
yeah.
She can still work, still works. So, I mean, I don't think she needs him. So it wouldn't surprise me, man.
Maybe.
But all I know, you can't lose. You can't lose starting offensive linemen in the NFL.
And that's my big thing.
To have success.
His center, the only center he's had since he's been in Tampa Bay, the only center he's taken snaps from, probably out for the year. And, hadn't had a lot, didn't have any preseason reps with the new center. And it just smells a little fishy to me. It's in Dallas. It's 2.5. It's Sunday Night Football. Tom Brady's not, of all the months of the season, September is the month with his worst record. He still has a winning record in September, but he's a lot better in November, December, January than he is in September and October. So I think.
And you know why I like that? I may even go moneyline Cowboys. You know why? Because
I might too.
Type of game we win.
Yeah.
And then
we'll lose to the Bengals next week.
Yeah, and we're gonna end up winning this, giving us and our fan base
Hope.
all the hope in the world. And then we're just gonna get our dreams dashed, just like the Denver game last year.
Exactly.
That's how it's been. I don't see anything that's gonna indicate any different. So I'll go Cowboys money line. Let's do it. Why not?
Why not? All right. I mean, I like it. We also, I think we both have a Cowboys futures bet. Cowboys, when we made the trip to Arkansas, where it's legal. Speaking of legal betting, I read today that looks like, because they only meet in Texas every other year, so they meet next year in 23, that I think they're going to propose. They've always kind of tabled it. I know there's been a sports betting casino bill has been presented the last two in 2019 and in 2021, and they've tabled it both times and never went anywhere. So I think it's gaining a little bit of traction. I don't know if it'll go anywhere, but I read something today that it looks like another one will be proposed when they meet again. Texas legislature meets again in 2023. Fingers crossed. My fingers don't really cross anymore, but fingers crossed. 2023 it'll go through. But anyway, when we made the trip to Arkansas, we both put in a futures bet for the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC East. So get a big win Sunday Night Football.
give us some momentum going forward.
I'd feel a lot better about it. Yeah. Speaking of some season win total bets, a couple of them I feel great about. Notre Dame, what was it? What do we have them at 8? Got to get to 8 wins. I feel great about Notre Dame. Yeah. They lost to Ohio State, but they played toe-to-toe with them. I love their defense. Got to get it going on offense, but I feel great about that Notre Dame season win total bet.
I do too, and I think Notre Dame, kind of like we talked about, I think it's between Notre Dame and another team I'm going to hit on in my sprinkle bets for that 4th playoff spot if they keep playing like they have been. So, yeah, I love that Notre Dame futures bet.
Love the Notre Dame. I love the Utah-Florida game. Utah, that's a hard game to win. They were favored on the road at the Swamp, but I still think we can get to the 8 wins needed for Utah, so still feel great about that.
Yeah, because I thought their only competition be Oregon. Well, Oregon looks like they hadn't played football in 50 years. So.
Oh, that was bad. That was bad. Bo Nix looks even worse in Oregon than he did in Auburn.
Yeah, he couldn't win in the SEC. I don't know why I thought
still
he
can't come close to beating Georgia. I got to say, the 2 most surprising results from week 1 for me, I took Louisville. Louisville got smoked by Syracuse. I had Louisville as a dark horse to win the ACC, and I think it was 31-7 against Syracuse, and I thought Syracuse was a bad team. So shocked by that, and then shocked about how good Florida was. That was a great football game, Florida-Utah, and the quarterback, Anthony Richardson. So those are the 2 big surprises. Do you have any big surprises that you kind of caught your attention week 1 last week?
Georgia, right out of the gate.
Yeah. I'm surprised Stetson Bennett
replaced so many guys on defense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, those guys they look like, Alabama used to just reload and Bama constantly reloads, and Georgia's to that point now where it's just next man up. They looked so impressive getting to the quarterback. Secondary looked good. Everything looked good. Stetson Bennett, the game manager, is out there doing what he does, taking care of stuff. And so, yeah, Georgia to me was the most surprising thing from week 1.
I agree with that. Stetson Bennett almost threw for 400 yards, and I think he only played, 3 quarters? He didn't play the full game, I know that. He almost threw 400 yards. If Stetson Bennett is going to go from a game manager to a game breaker, Georgia, Alabama's on a railroad to first week in December in Atlanta.
Yeah, nobody's beating them in the East, I can tell you that. If they play like that every week, nobody's beating them in the East, and Alabama is going to have their hands full again, the SEC championship, like you said.
Yeah. I thought Georgia was the 3rd team. I thought it was Alabama and Ohio State, and then Georgia's probably 3rd. I think you got to switch Georgia and Ohio State. Although Ohio State played a better competition, but it's Alabama, Georgia, gap, Ohio State, gap. I can tell you Clemson's not the 4th best team in the country.
No.
I can tell you that.
They had to pull away late from Georgia Tech.
I don't know who is. Yeah, and Clemson's playing the wrong quarterback, and the longer they put that off, the worse it's going to get. The true freshman from Austin Westlake, Klubnik, he needs to be starting. And that's just a matter of time. I don't know how long Dabo Swinney's going to put that off, but that'll happen at some point. So, yeah, I think it's Alabama, Georgia, gap, Ohio State, gap, and then a bunch of other teams that we don't know how good they're going to be. But I think there's some – it was a great weekend. Some really, really good football games.
Loved it.
Houston, UTSA was a great game. Arkansas, Cincinnati. It was just all around some great games. And hoping we have a great game come Saturday as the old Crimson Tide is making their first non-conference true road game in 10 years. They have not had a true road game. They've played all those neutral site,
and
playing Dallas, playing Atlanta, but they haven't had a true non-conference road game in 10 years. And this is the first one coming to Austin, game day, big noon kickoff. And so before the season, some books had it at 11, 12 points, Alabama, before the season. And then I listened to a podcast, and it was a guy from a casino in Las Vegas, and he said, I think everybody's crazy. We have it at 17. This was 2 weeks ago. And I said repeatedly to people, I think 17 was the number. Well, now it's 20. and a lot of money and bets are on Alabama. Alabama's favored by 20 over Texas. I watched Alabama highlights last week. Obviously watched the Texas game. It's hard to tell about either one of them because of the lack of opponent. Utah State did win 11 games last year, and Alabama made them look like they were the Pioneer Wildcats. Alabama might be an elite team, and obviously I don't think Texas is close to being an elite team. However, I do think their defense did look better. I know it's weaker competition, but they looked faster to me, and they tackled better. And that was two areas, and they rushed the passer better. They had 3 sacks. They from a team that only had like 16 sacks all year last year. They got 3 in the first game. I don't care if it's against Monroe. They also played Rice last year and didn't sack Rice. So, Texas defense looks better to me. They look faster. They tackle better, but you're going against the defending Heisman Trophy winner, maybe the best quarterback in Alabama history. He's got some weapons, got some running game. The offensive line had struggled in pass protection against Utah State. Didn't get any sacks, but what happened was Bryce Young was able to scramble and ended up running for 100 yards. So I think Texas can get some pressure on them. Defensively, though, Alabama might be Georgia's defense from last year. I don't know about that good, but they're going to be the top defense in the country, I think. They're just that good defensively. So I don't know. This is tough for me to pick a side, but see what your thoughts. Texas hosting Alabama 11 o'clock Saturday.
I think you hit the nail on the head with Texas's defense. They fly to the ball pretty well. I was impressed with that, watching them, against weaker competition, you're supposed to look good. And that's one thing Texas's defense did, flying to the ball, making plays, pressure on the quarterback, secondary looked good. Offensively, I think Quinn had some first game jitters, so he needs, not that you're not going to have jitters now going against Alabama, but he needs to shake that off. And if I'm Sarkisian, I get him some confidence boosters early, some easy stuff. Don't let him do too much right out of the gate. And I think you got to get Robinson going. And I think if Robinson goes for close to one, I think if he goes 150 plus, Texas is in pretty good shape to maybe even shock the world in Austin.
I think that's what Sarkisian's game plan is going to be. Obviously, get your best player of the ball, Bijan Robinson, and try to get him going. And then because Sarkisian loves to play action, deep pass. Ewers was 0 for 4 in the opener on passes beyond that traveled at least 20 yards. He was 0 for 4. So he's got some way to go on that. All 4 of them were play action passes that Sark loves to do. So I definitely think that's going to be Sarkisian's game plan. And I'm very confident Nick Saban's game plan is going to be make the young freshman quarterback beat us. If he beats us, he beats us. But he's going to have to be really good to beat us. And we're going to confuse him. We're going to pressure him. We're going to give him looks he's never seen before. And we're just going to put the pressure on him and make him beat us. And I think that's what Nick Saban's game plan is going to be. And I think after what I saw from him last week, I think there's potential there. He started off nervous. His first 2 passes, his first one should have been intercepted. His second one was. And then after that, he settled in. Nothing spectacular, but he did make one pretty good throw. The rest of them were pretty easy reads. Didn't have to make too complicated. Plus, they were winning, so Sarkisian put him in positions to be successful. I think Saban is really going to really put some pressure on him. And we'll see how he responds, see how he reacts.
Yeah, I think Nick Saban's going to hit him. They're going to try to hit Quinn Ewers hard and hit him often and see how he reacts, see if they can get him to fold and crack under pressure.
Yeah, and I can see a lot of the moving Will Anderson, Dallas Turner around. I mean, they're probably 2 first-round draft pick edges. Will Anderson probably is by far the best defensive player in the country, if not complete best player in the country. They're going to move him around. They're going to show blitzes. They're going to back guys off. They're going to show Ewers a lot of looks he's probably never seen. A lot of looks you didn't see at Southlake Carroll High.
Yeah, or on the
against or on the bench at Ohio State or ULM Monroe. So it's 20. I don't know if you have a play on that one. That is one of my plays. And here's why. I'm going to take Texas plus 20 because I think it should be at 17, and I could see it being at 14. I don't feel great about it because, Alabama could very easily blow them out. I do think Texas' defense has improved. I saw Utah State put pressure on Bryce Young and on that offensive line. I think Texas can get a couple sacks on them if that Alabama doesn't sure that up. And I think 20 is a lot of points at home. I mean, we're talking about a home team getting 20 points. I know it's Alabama. I know Alabama's elite, but it's 11 o'clock a.m. It's a big deal. I believe Texas is going to be ready to play. And again, Texas had the lead in the fourth quarter 3 weeks in a row against three teams ranked in the top 10. And I know those three, Oklahoma State, and Baylor, they're not Alabama, but they're still top 10 teams, and Texas led them last year. And I believe Texas is better this year. So I think, to me, 20 points is a lot. I think Alabama wins the game 37-20, right around in there, 38-21 would be my guess, and that falls within the 20 number. So I'm going to take Texas at home getting 20 points, but I think even though Alabama wins by 17, it'll be one of those games. I don't think Texas, outside the first quarter, they might not be within a one score the rest of the game.
This game is one of my my sprinkle bets. Maybe sprinkle a little bit on the over at 64.5, 65, depending on where you can get it. I think honestly, Texas can probably score 21, 24, somewhere in that range on Alabama, especially if they're able to get the running game going. If they get the running game going, I think it's going to be a close game, and Alabama's going to have to score to try to produce some separation. If they can't get the running game going, sky's the limit at that point on how much I think Alabama can put on them, because then nothing's going right. Defense starts getting, kind of mad at each other. They start, the game plan just falls apart. Just knock the board over, right? So I think no I'm not Nostradamus by any means, but Bijan Robinson, if they're able to get him going, I think Texas is close. And I think the over in this game, it's like I said, 64.5, 65. That's kind of that's going to be a game time decision for me. As I'm watching game day, I may flip a coin or, kick a shoe, roll a ball, whatever I got to do. But that's one of my sprinkle bets, is that over, just because I think Alabama's going to be out to send a mission. Alabama's going to be on a mission. Texas is going to be on a mission. So that to me is points.
Yep. Well, Alabama's got elite quarterback. It's probably going to be the number one overall pick, defending Heisman Trophy winner. And, he looked better than ever against Utah State. So, it's going to be national televised. All eyes will be on it. Big game, 11 o'clock. He could show out. Absolutely. One matchup we didn't mention this is going to be a matchup I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be in attendance from my my seats there, section 21. Is left tackle Kelvin Banks, true freshman in for Texas, number 78, left tackle, going against Will Anderson, because Banks was a 5-star. He won the job pretty easily in camp. He didn't get there till June. Won the job pretty easily in camp. Even though he's 18 years old, if he's the best you got, he's the best you got. So let's see what he's got. He's going to be going against the best defensive player in the country, and Will Anderson, number 31.
Yeah, baptism by fire.
So I'm anxious to see that. And to touch on what you said, Texas was a mentally weak team last year. They had every time they got in adversity, they sunk. There was bickering, there was fighting. They weren't on the same page. You could see it. You don't have a lead 3 weeks in a row against top 10 teams, and then let that fold. If you're, and so they're just mentally weak. They folded under pressure when the game got tough 3 weeks in a row last year, and then it resulted in 6 straight losses. And so that's something I'm looking for is how's Texas going to respond? Texas, do they bounce back? Because they're going to face some adversity. 100% going to face some adversity. So I'm anxious to see that. And that'll tell you a lot about Texas, because they better get it rocking and rolling. Because if this game don't work out for them, they got UTSA the next week. And if that one's close to a touchdown or more, I'm taking the Roadrunners. I can go ahead and tell you right now, even though they're coming off Army, that's going to be a big game for UTSA. So we'll see. We'll learn a lot about Texas, I think, on Saturday. So, rolling down. All right, picks. So I gave you mine. I got Texas plus 20. What's your next pick? What's your best pick?
Ooh, best pick. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh and Tennessee over 66.
I like that.
Slovis versus Hooker. I think Tennessee's offense is going to show up again. Pittsburgh, Slovis, they're going to want to sling the ball around and kind of hang with Tennessee. Neither defense is spectacular. So I think this has the making for some points. Easily be in the 40s to 40 something to 30 something type games. So yeah, I got Pittsburgh, Tennessee over 66.
I like that. That's a very good bet. I hadn't thought about that one. I like it a lot. I'm gonna take a lot of underdogs this week. I got one favorite. The biggest underdog I got is Southern Miss against Miami.
Ooh.
Plus 25. Southern Miss played hard last week. They came back, made it a close game. They're getting 25 points against Miami. Miami has A&M on deck, and everything sounds like it's going to be college. Game day will be in College Station for Miami A&M. That's a big game for Miami. Maybe they overlook Southern Miss. 25, that's a lot. So I'm taking Southern Miss to cover against Miami, 25 points.
I like it. My next one, Houston, Texas Tech. Over 63.5, 2 overs so far in a row. And if you count the Bama, Texas sprinkle. Tune versus Smith. Houston looking to get their offense back on track. Tech loses their starting quarterback. Smith filled in just fine.
Yep.
I think it's going to be another, historical Lubbock QB battle, just air raid going on there between these two teams. And Tech has Western Kentucky's offense coordinator Kitley. Last year at Western Kentucky, 44 points a game, 536 yards per game. And now it's like Smith is going to be the starting quarterback. So I think they're going to get rolling. They're going to want to put up big numbers in front of the home crowd. Houston coming off that tough UTSA. Neither team's defense is anything to write home about. So again, I think a lot of points on deck for this game as well.
That's a great bet because if Houston and Texas Tech doesn't go over 60, would you say 63.5?
63.5.
If Houston and Texas Tech don't go over 63.5, something's wrong in the world. I mean, that game just screams over. So, all right.
I think so too.
I love that one. Next one, I got another big dog. And I'm a little torn on this one. Appalachian State's getting 19 against Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And you just saw Appalachian State play their hearts out against North Carolina. Had a couple opportunities to win that game. Ended up falling 2 points short. Went for two twice in the fourth quarter. Oh, by the way, they scored 40 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, that's absurd. Appalachian State played their hearts out, in-state rival. So I'm a little worried they're going to travel to College Station and just be downtrodden and lose a little bit of hope. I think A&M wins the game, but A&M's offense, they didn't light up Sam Houston. Now, they beat them, I think, like 31-0, 33-0. But their offense, Hayes King threw for a lot of yards, but, I expected to see maybe a little bit more out of them. And I think Appalachian State, they play hard. They're well coached. And that's a lot of points. It's the same thing. It's kind of the same philosophy I have with Southern Miss against Miami. Maybe A&M looking forward to, the big game with Miami next week. 19 is a lot, especially if offense doesn't click 100% for A&M. I think Appalachian State is a good enough team to compete all the way through and maybe get a backdoor cover, and 19 is just a big number. And so I'm going to take Appalachian State to get within the number plus 19.
I like it. Appalachian State can put some points up, so
yeah,
that's all you need to be able to score to cover. So second, I've got Illinois. For another one, I've got Illinois. Back on Illinois, 4.5 or under 57.5. Take your pick. Defense is getting pressure up there. They had 4 turnovers last game, but I think they'll have that under control. Illinois, we know they'll be able to control the ground game. We know to beat them as a deal. So I think Illinois' got a great opportunity to cover. Maybe win by a touchdown, 9, somewhere in there. And definitely the under with their ability to control the ground game.
Kyle, we were both on the Illinois, our favorite bet, and they had an opportunity. The turnovers got us.
Yeah.
We pushed that one. I kind of need this. This is a big game for me because I have an Illinois over and I have a Virginia under season win total.
Ooh.
So this is a big game. I had it on my list. I took it
Yeah.
off. It's a big game. I mean, I need Illinois to pull this one out. I think Illinois is a better team. Absolutely.
I think so
I
too.
think they beat Indiana on the road last week if they don't have 4 turnovers. So
Right.
it's a good one. It's a good bet. Next game I got Georgia State plus 7.5 against North Carolina. North Carolina, this will be their third game. They didn't look great against Florida A&M. Defense didn't look great against Appalachian State. They have been really bad against the run. And in Georgia State, they're going to run it, and they're going to run it, they're going to run it. And I think they're going to keep it in the number. North Carolina has had 2 kind of decent battles, especially last week, all the way to the wire. And this ain't a week to relax. You're playing a team that is fast, and they run a gimmick, that slot T gimmick offense, and they're going to run it. And you got to be disciplined, and you got to play great defense. And they might keep the ball a whole quarter if you're not prepared for it. So I kind of like Georgia State after the battle North Carolina was just in. I believe it might actually be in Georgia State. So Georgia State plus 7.5 against North Carolina. I'm going to take a shot at that one.
I like it. Catch the Tar Heels sleeping.
Yep.
My next one, I got Baylor plus 3.5, whatever you can get it at BYU. BYU is pretty big up front on the offensive line. Baylor's defensive line is more than capable of matching up, if not overpowering BYU's offensive line. Statement game for both teams. BYU about to come into the Big 12. Baylor saying, hey, you're in my neck of the woods now. Baylor going to go in there, and I think they're going to try to take the crowd out of the game early. They're going to be pumped there in Provo, and I think Baylor's going to try to put the foot on the gas and never let up. So I think Baylor plus 3 or 3.5, whatever you can get it at.
I'm torn on that one. BYU put it on. They put it on South Florida, but holy cow, to Baylor. I know they played Albany. They're what are they? FCS, I guess.
Yeah.
But they scored 69. The reason they didn't score 70 is because Albany blocked the 10th touchdown. They blocked the 10th extra point. So made it 69-10. I'm excited to watch that game. Excited to go watch Texas Alabama early. Then I'll probably take a nap, and then 9:15 turn on BYU and Baylor.
Love it.
I don't know how that one goes, but I think taking points with Baylor, even though it's in Utah, it's a safe pick. So that's all. I said I had 5, but I actually have 5 total. 4 college, and then I gave you the Cowboys. So I'm done. I don't know if you got any more.
I got one more. My last sprinkle pick: Oklahoma State, Arizona State over 58. We know what the Oklahoma State offense can do. They just took their foot off the gas against Central Michigan. Just let them come back, which is, hey man, if you're betting the over, that's exactly what you need anyway. So I think Oklahoma State can score in the 40s and 50s. Again, that means you just need Arizona State to get touchdown and a field goal. And
it's plus 11.
I think that one, Arizona State, Oklahoma State over 58.
I like it. Jimmy's going a lot of overs.
Mm-hmm.
Got an under in there. I like those. I gave you a couple of spreads. Actually, I gave you all underdogs. Texas, Southern Miss, Appalachian State, Georgia State, and then the Cowboys, I think, get it in the number. Football, we're well on our way. NFL starts this week. Can't wait. It's going to be a great time. Game day. Excited for Saturday being awesome. Football's back, buddy. Gridiron Grind, another episode.
Love it. Love it.
Love it.
Dogs.
Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for checking us out. We'll see you again next week here on the Gridiron Grind.